All right, what's going on, guys? Sky Pirate Actual here, and we are back with another walkthrough video. I'm going to be doing this one pretty solo. This one is going to be on Dirty Civilians scenario-based loadout. Now, we'll say that I've watched this 3 times, probably over the span of a few months, just to make sure I'm not misconstruing or make sure I'm getting everything the video is trying to put across. There is some stuff I'm going to add to, or some stuff that I would like to clarify if it didn't make sense. First things first, this is not a critique, or there will be some critiques, but for the most part, I'm just here to watch the video and kind of add to. So let's go ahead and let's hop on into it. Gotta figure out how to run these hot buttons.
Any scenario that could arise. That's where thought exercises come in, like this. Something that we can do to put a loadout through a mental crucible to determine if we have what we think we really need. The way we do this is by creating mock situations. So today, Drew is going to give me a situation and a mission along with some parameters, and I have to build a loadout specifically for that task in a given timeline. Then we break it down and we judge my ability to pull tools together as a team and assess how that situation would have gone. Now, you guys will also have ideas and scenarios and tools and equipment that you would have brought all on your own. And we want some of that feedback as well, because the goal in this mind game is for all of us to be better.
Here's your scenario. 30 days ago, the financial system in this country collapsed. A week ago, all goods coming in and out of our small community was completely cut off. Since then, good people have resorted to doing bad things for their family. Bad people have been committing violence since the start. You have emergency supplies on hand, but they won't last forever, and there's no telling when order will be restored to the area.
All right, so he just got his brief. All right, so, or no, he's about to get his brief. He just got essentially the scenario. So financial collapse took place 72 hours ago, and then food and equipment stopped rolling in essentially a week ago. That timeline, I'm not sure it makes any sense, but the within 72 hours, I'll be honest with you, unless you're staying inside of a city, and even then 72 hours, I don't think much is going on. I would think within the first 48 hours all the stores are being pillaged, so people have enough food for probably, I don't know, whatever food they had in the house. So probably about a week's worth of food. I think um, the real breakdown happens probably maybe 2 weeks after, or maybe a week and a half after, I'd give it. Once everyone has gone through their food and their supplies, that's when people start getting desperate. So I don't think you're going to start seeing anything around 72 hours. However, looters are going to probably start going active 24 hours, 48 hours after collapse. So um, he is correct on that.
John Deere down, John Deere down. One flat tire, mile marker 3, ring 6 trans ASAP.
The message you just heard over the radio came from a neighbor that lives 1 mile from you. It has a hidden meaning that breaks down to this. I've shot a deer. I'm hurt. Location is tree stand number 3. Challenge pass is 6. You know that this farmer is an avid hunter. His home is 5 miles by road or 1 mile by foot. He's about 70 years old, but needs your help. You have a wife and newborn at home. You have 15 minutes to prep your gear, a plan, make a decision, and go. You ready?
I guess so.
Let's go.
All right. Okay, I'm working with limited time here, but if I...
All right, so one of the first things I noticed that he got his brief, or his, it was like a op order frago, did not take notes. All right, so if anything important's happening, especially like that, you want to make sure that you have all the facts, that you want to make sure that you don't forget something, and then also start to kind of decipher the notes, right? So he said you have a 70-year-old, he has his location. The first thing I would probably do is go ahead and pull out a map, plot his exact point from where I am currently. I'm sure I've seen this video. So he has a GPS, but you need a map too, right? So basically, so when you can also plan out your route. You only have 15 minutes. So if you only have 15 minutes and you just want to hop in I would say hop in a vehicle personally, because once again, time matters, right? So 72 hours, I'm not expecting people to be in the woods poaching and pillaging for whatever they're trying to find, due to, financial collapse. I'm not looking for people to be active in that area anytime soon. Typically speaking, they will encroach on the city areas because that's where all the resources are going to be until all the resources are gone, and then they start to move back out. So he's in rural Tennessee. So next thing was he got a really cryptic radio call from a 70-year-old that he knows as his neighbor. Once again, I don't see the need for the cryptic stuff. 72 hours deep. I just don't see the point. Dude, tell me where you are. Tell me how hurt you are, because now we got to go into, are you ambulatory or non-ambulatory? For those of you that don't know what those terms mean, ambulatory means that you can get up and you can walk and exit without the physical assistance of another human being. Now, on the other end, non-ambulatory, you absolutely cannot move. So that leads me to believe a couple of things here. So now I'm starting to decipher this, because you wouldn't be calling me if you were ambulatory, you can get up and walk out by yourself. So I'm going to assume that's not an upper extremity. So now I'm going to assume it's a lower extremity injury, which could be a litany of things, right? So it could be a broken leg, snapped ankle, could be I'm not going to say a rolled ankle, because I can walk out of a rolled ankle. But he's also 70 years old and he fell out of a tree stand. That can mean a broken back at that age. That can be a absolutely destroyed hip. That could be any of those things. So I'm like, one, if you can give me that cryptic ass call, I'm going to call him back and ask and state an RFI. So request for information. I need more than what you're giving me. Like, what is the situation where you're at? Are there bad people around? Do you suspect that there are bad people around? Animals. I need all of that stuff. How far away are you from the road? Like tree stand 3, I'm going to assume he knows exactly where tree stand 3 is. But if it's off of the road, then I want to know exactly where you're at. So, super important to gather as much information before you execute, so that way you're not walking into situations blind. Okay, but we'll continue on.
I know where I'm going, and as long as it's saved in the GPS, I definitely need that. Let's find out what gun I'm taking. So this is kind of my standard go-to, this LMT, which is an awesome build, but it's a little bit compact. It's kind of heavy for what I'm doing. I'm also not going to be trying to shoot it out on all of my, walking and trying to figure out what's going on with my neighbors. So let's make sure that I have it's loaded. Okay, so I have a GPS, I have a rifle with an LPVO, Criterion 14.5, Huxworks can, fairly simple and lightweight up on the front, Tango 6T, Delta Point Pro mounted on top. If you're looking for accessories like this, Shooting Surplus is one of the sponsors of this video, and they carry a lot of accessories that go along with tools like this, if you're curious. So let's throw that on there and get that out of the way. I at least have a rifle prepped. I want boots. So these are Kentrek hard scrabble boots. They have recently been waxed up. You do have to keep wax on leather boots like that, so something to keep in mind. Oh yeah, okay. I don't think I'm going to take a sleeping system, because I'm probably not going to be gone very long. Oh, for that matter, I'm going to want to tell my wife. So if I have a wife and a newborn at home, I need to tell her comms. So I'll have a radio with me. While I'm here, I'll grab this. And I'll make sure that she has some way to communicate with me, and I have a way to communicate with her. So I'll make sure that we're on the same frequency and tell her what's going on. So she's going to need a radio, and then as well as a rifle. I'll probably give her my primary gun, and she can use that if need be. So the chest rig, let's set this down real quick. We'll get back to that. The chest rig, what do I have in here? This tends to stay loaded out as is. In the front here, I have something to write on, something to write with, as well as a compass. The guts in here, there's a ton of stuff in here, but a lot of general tools that I can use. So I have super glue if I get a cut, emergency ear pro, fire, electrical tape, a little bit of gun lube if need be, water purification tabs, things like that. So that goes into the chest rig. I also have some extra batteries. On body, I do have.
Okay, what are we packing for here? Like, this is an injured neighbor that's a mile away by foot and 5 miles away by drive. I don't understand why we're getting all like I can understand like you're trying to like you're looking for the security portion. Okay, kudos. But this is medical first. Like first thing I'm going for is something that I can evac a casualty with. Big thing for me is not going by yourself. If I'm suspecting that things are dangerous, I should not be going alone. I should be calling friends with the time that I have, all the time that we're wasting here getting ready for this imaginary scenario that we're thinking of, where I can almost guarantee it's not going to be bad over there. I'm calling friends for a couple of reasons, and then two, I'm absolutely not walking there. Like I understand it's a mile by foot, and if you're a decent walker or you're gonna sprint there, you get, let's just say, between 10 to 15 minutes. I could probably, if I'm hauling ass on the roads, I can probably make it in probably the same amount of time. If I'm hauling ass on Tennessee back roads, ain't no cops out there, I'm gonna burn down to where I can go. Why would I do that? Because now that gives me a pseudo Casevac vehicle on top of that, right? I don't know if anybody's ever dragged bodies through the fucking wood line. I've done it more times than I can fucking count. It's miserable every fucking time, especially fully kitted up, especially when the guy you're dragging's fully kitted up, and then you're dragging him through the woods through weird shitty terrain. And on top of that, once again, depending on what the injury is, I can't drag him back. If he's got a broken or fucked up back or hips, you risk doing more damage and possibly even killing this guy if we start dragging a messed up, an injured person through the woods, not knowing what the extent of the injuries are. So no, if I can put him in the back of a vehicle and strap him up, securely with actual medical equipment, I'm going to do that so I can take him to the next echelon of care, which is not going to be my house, I promise you. But once again, it just seems like there's a lot of time being wasted on stuff that's not going to get used, or it shouldn't be used, or it shouldn't even be in mind. Like speed is everything. I don't know what the extent of his injuries are. Even if he's talking to me now, he could be in shock the next moment. So wasting all of this time being like, oh, what gun am I taking? Oh, what am I packing in here? Stop. Get in your goddamn car. Yes, grab your weapons and stuff. That's fine. Make sure you have actual medical equipment, not makeshift stuff. If this comes down to someone else's life, I'm taking shit that's actually made for the task. So, and on top of that, it seems like he's by himself this entire video. The wrong answer for me. Like if you're by yourself, I'm absolutely bringing things that are made for this. So like a Skedco, a Talon J, which a Talon J, you're going to need two people to fucking carry it. You can drag it, sure, but it's going to be miserable once again. A Skedco, you can drag with one person, but once again, you're going to be getting smoked. So, I don't know. Let's keep going.
Have water as well as another little can of iodine tablets if need be. Yeah, we're moving right along. Tourniquet, multi-tool in here, red headlamp. And then, again, with the mindset that I'm going to be going out and trying to help someone with medical, I want to make sure that I grab medical. I'm not trying to fight a whole ton of people. If anything, I'm probably going to try to just get in, get out, and not be gone very long. So with that in mind, speed is going to be my security. I'm also alone, so I don't know. I'm trying to decide. I'm going to ditch 2 of these mags. I don't need to carry all of this extra weight, and there's a ton of ammo in my backpack. So let's grab that as well. This is another item that stays loaded for me.
Hold on.
Let's set this down for a minute.
Okay, so for a couple of reasons here, this is kind of, it's a little bit mind-blowing. Once again, I'm trying to go super duper light here, but you're by yourself. You're already at a disadvantage, and you're going to be engaged with taking care of an injured person that you're tasked with going to find and then bring back safely. If you get into any contact whatsoever, you're probably going to lose, and that guy's probably going to die. Mainly because your focus is going to be split between getting back to wherever you're going and then also making sure that your patient is not dying behind you, right? Especially if you're attempting to drag him a mile back to the house. That will be miserable, dude. And at no point in time, and like it's just one of those things. Like you got to bring stuff for the patient too. If he is in shock, you're gonna need to bring maybe a space blanket or something like that to keep him warm, so that way he's not, he stays warm while he's in shock, because he's gonna feel cold the entire time, even if his body's not actually cold. But once again, I think we're focusing way too much on the wrong type of gear for this. And you're focused more about your sustainment out there versus like, hey, I need to get to this guy with a decent amount of speed so I can get him to the next echelon of care. That should have been the primary right here. Not the primary shouldn't be your weapons. The primary should be the patient and me getting to him. The security comes secondary, which means yes, you should still be very much armed. But if you run into any more than a single person at that time, like you're probably done. So let's continue to go.
And that goes with that. Okay, so this is a pack that stays loaded for me. I have a bunch of tools like a Gerber entry tool. Oh gosh, let's see if I can get this out. It's gets snapped in there pretty tight, which is good. So I can dig with this, I can pry with this, I can cut with it. That stays on the outside. On the opposite side, I have a Gerber E-tool. You guys know what E-tools look like? In the top here, medical. I want to shave weight as best as possible because I want to move fast, but he said that he's hurt. I don't know what hurt means. So I'm going to keep all of my medical equipment with me, and I do have a handful of different stuff in here, from multiple tourniquets to blowout kits, burn dressings. I also have a splint in here somewhere. Let's make sure I have that on hand. Band-aids and another tourniquet. So that's going to stay on the top. Okay. On the front here, I have things that you can do to increase your survivability as well. If I have to go to the bathroom, I want to hold on to that. A black plastic bag and then an emergency blanket. Those are going to stay because, once again, I don't know what's going on with this guy, and I have minimal time.
Because
make sure that those all stay in there nice and snug. What's in this one? Fire starter kit, good to have. There's my splint. Sam splint in case he rolled his ankle or broke his arm or something like that. These can be used to throw over something or someone if you want to hide, create shade if need be. You can also, it's just a big piece of fabric. You can make a triangle bandage if someone has a broken arm. So those also are going to stay. So this shooting mat over here on this other side, I've thought about what I can do with this, kind of a multi-purpose tool for a while. It will roll out. This is made by Armageddon Gear. So it rolls out, you can lay down on it and shoot, but it also can be a good summertime sleeping pad. It just kind of keeps you up off the ground. It is humid in Tennessee, keeps moisture from coming into your body. So I will hold on to that. And then, oh boy, dig into this Everly stock pack. So what do I keep in here? That's right. So on the top, I have a rain jacket. I have a balaclava. I have a change of socks and then long johns if it does get cold. The weather around here can be really crazy. A jet boil. I'm not planning on being out for very long. I also don't have any food packed in here at the moment. I'm only going to be away from my house for 1 mile. At worst, I'd say 12 to 24 hours. 24 would be bad, but I don't need to carry this extra weight. This is going to stay here. This is a waterproof bag that has socks and underwear in it. Definitely want to hold on to that. A bivy sack. If nothing else, I want to keep the bugs off of me. So I'll hold on to this, but I don't think I need a full sleeping bag. So I'm going to ditch this, and that's where a whoopee comes in. If I have to throw this on, it can go on over my not plate carrier, my chest rig. Breaks up an outline if I am wearing.
My brother in Christ. What? One, I haven't seen not one thing brought for the patient yet. Like, here's the thing: if I'm tasking myself with bringing this guy back, I don't plan on stopping. My movement is not going to stop until I've made it home or I've made it back to my vehicle. In my case, for thinking of the situation, I'm going to go back to my vehicle, right? If you wanted to make the squeeze a little bit, the juice worth the squeeze, you can even offset your infill if you think something's going to be kind of going awry. You can get to 1 mile out, 2 miles out from where you think he is. Me personally, I'm just going to pull straight the fuck up because I don't think anything's going to be happening around that point in time. Once again, I also don't know how far off of any main road this tree stand actually is, because tree stands typically aren't very close to the roads. They're usually pretty far off. So my big thing is if I can keep myself from dragging this guy 1 mile back to my house through the terrain, I fully plan on loading him up in a vehicle. So once again, just in case he has the much larger injuries than I'm aware of, then I'm going to go ahead and once again, I'm bringing real medical equipment. I'm actually bringing a Skadco, or in my case, I have a Talon J down in my garage right now that I'd be whipping out for that. So I can strap him down, make sure his body isn't moving so he's not causing extra injuries by being moved and jostled around. So, and then once again, I'd also be calling extra people for help. I would not be doing this. I would be trying my damnedest to not do this by myself. And if I'm going to do it by myself, I'm going to make sure that I can do this in the easiest and most expedient fashion possible. And let's keep going.
Different colors. It's really green in Tennessee right now, so I'll hold on to this, and this will be a part of a sleeping system. And if I need to crawl into a bivy sack, at least I have one of those.
Nope.
Get rid of
you hopping in a bivy
for
sack
a second.
What are we stopping for?
Nods. I definitely want nods. Okay, so there's
nods?
this cool rig that's all set up. The boonie cap was given to us by Americana Pipe Dream. And then this rig that's kind of like a nightcap is made by Tracer Tactical. And you can thread everything through and put your PBS 14 or dual tubes or whatever that you have on here. And I could take a helmet, but I'm trying to move fast and I don't want to have all that extra bulk sitting on here. I don't want to be wearing a helmet during the daytime if I can help it. So inside of this pouch, I have gloves, a wool hat, and then my 14 and some batteries to keep it running as well. And this will just sit on the inside of the hat. Not perfectly protected, but 14s are a lot more durable than people think. Water filtration, I'll take some water, but I know that a mile in pretty much any direction, there's a ton of farmers around here. I do have a good relationship with a lot of them, and I probably won't be hurting for water as long as I have a way to filter and purify. Okay, there's a lot of uses for these. This is, if you guys have an Eno hammock, you guys probably recognize this. It's just a bunch of nylon straps with adjustable settings. And yes, you can hang a hammock with it, but if it's durable enough to hold 2 people, you could probably lift or pull a deer or probably find a way to make a litter with this. So I'm gonna hold on to these. And then 2 or 3 more items that I have down here. Oh, this is kind of cool. So I have set up, check this out, a pull tab on the top. I ran some 550 cord through this ammo satchel. So this bag, a lot of people are curious about. This is just a saw pouch made by Eagle, and it'll hold Link, or you can hold 6 PMags. If I'm ditching ammo, I don't really feel like I need to, I just had a good idea. I'll ditch all of this, and I'm gonna take those other 2 mags back. I don't necessarily want to carry them on body, but it's not a bad idea to have 2 more mags. So these are gonna go back down in here. Now I'm packing and unpacking at the same time. Okay, general.
Okay, if I am going to be taking magazines out, why would, and you already have a chest rig, so if you got room in your chest rig, why not just have an immediate if you're gonna be if you're gonna rock a chest? This chest rig might have already been full, so okay, so he's throwing extra mags in there, and then he's worried about the deer. I don't give a fuck about that deer. I don't give a solitary fuck about that deer. As much as I would love to take care of that deer, you're by yourself in this video, which means the deer is an absolute afterthought. If I can, I'll come back for it later before I think about even dragging that thing out. And that's another justification to probably just bring your fucking truck there, so that way you can just chuck that shit in there too, right? You're taking away options for yourself by walking in. Like, I don't think anyone watching this and is like, you know what? Yeah, it shouldn't be bad for me just walking a mile with a hurt old man through the woods. Like, dragging things through the woods sucks, dude. It is not fun. You do need to be fit. It is gonna gas you super fucking quick. So yes, that deer is something that is an afterthought. I'll go back for it at some point in time after I've taken this guy to the next higher level of care, if there is any. So if not, taking him back to my house.
Miscellaneous tools. This is kind of bigger, beefier items, sort of like what I have in my chest rig. I have a lot of small tools in there. This has 550 cord. It has, tweezers and some knives to dress out a deer if need be. I don't have a ton of experience in that, but I'm gonna go help someone who does. And then a suture kit and things like that. I think I wanna hold on to this, but another item that I can ditch is a gun cleaning kit. We have a video on our, well, my idea of a functional gun cleaning kit on our website. Go check it out if you need to, but I'm not gonna be gone long enough that I think I'm gonna need to actually take this. I do want to break up my outline though, because again, it's really green. This is a tan pack. So let's throw that on there. Set this here, set that there. Let's cinch everything down. This goes to that. Good. Drew, how we doing on time, man? Okay. Well, at least I have pretty much everything sorted here. Can I still access my mags there right on top? Good, I like that. I have a cinch.
You're getting engaged.
What is
You're
the
welcome
cinch
back
run
to your
to?
backpack.
Perfect. Let's put the soft stuff in the middle here. Water I want up a little bit higher. Let's set that there close to the body. Nods, can't forget those, and pat it as best as possible. Let's cinch this sucker down. Oh man, I just realized I threw boots. I think I'm gonna want some gaiters. There's a lot of ticks and it does get wet out here in Tennessee. That's fairly well packed. Cinched down well. I don't want stuff moving around on me. Yeah, I did remove some items, so let's make sure that that's not gonna move around a bunch. Close this. Good. Close my top cap. Come on now. Okay, now let's throw this back in here. Good. And I can take my 100 Concepts cover. The nice thing is this could come off if need be. Let's say I'm moving through a bunch of trees and I feel like I'm snagging on stuff. I have not found that to be the case. I've hiked around with it a fair amount. Plus there's Molly on this backpack. So if stuff's gonna snag, it's gonna snag. And cinch this so it doesn't move on me a bunch. Good, okay. I don't need this piece. I'm also wearing a pistol. I don't need this pistol. I'm taking a rifle, especially carrying appendix. That's not gonna happen for me. So let's just set this here. Build this back out real quick. I have my 3 mags. That's gassed up. I know that these are because I tend to leave it gassed up. Notes, something to write on, something to write with. Seal that. Very good, very good. I gotta change my boots, but other than that, I think this is pretty ready. Let's do a quick check and make sure that everything is fitting and feeling good. Oh, Ear Pro.
What is going on right now?
Have a down lead to actually run to my comms. So let's do this. Okay, I have medical. I have stuff to take care of myself. I have a rifle. I do not have a pistol. I need to communicate with my wife and tell her what's going on. Good. Trying to get all this weight as much as possible on my hips. Cinch that down. Close that up. I'm sure people have particular ways to actually cinch everything down on their pack. But as long as it works for you, the goal is to get the weight off of your shoulders and more onto your hips. Very good, very good. Do I have batteries in here? Yes, I do. Nice. Okay. Dang it. There's always something going on. This is going to have to come with me and I'm going to have to pack it on the way. Okay, close this back up. 3 minutes left. Okay, am I forgetting anything?
I think you got everything.
No, I guess I'll use those 3 minutes to go talk to my wife. Explain, apologize, whatever it is that you have to do. Very good. I have to do some cable management here because this is all done last minute. I will go tell her
All that to you.
I have a route as far as where I'm going.
Holy shit!
I'm going to
man,
throw
that's
some boots on
running a bow
while I
fact.
talk to my wife.
Super expensive.
And this needs to be packed in last minute as well.
Something like $3,500 worth of shit. Okay, guys, let's talk about it. All right, so some notes that I wrote down. Shooting it out should absolutely be last fucking option, dude. Granted, you don't have 100% of the choice in that particular situation. He said tell his wife, which I thoroughly agreed with that. Communicate with your spouse. If things are getting nearly as bad as I think that is being portrayed here, which doesn't seem all that bad, honestly. If it was something even worse than this and you were in a different place, like if you weren't in rural Tennessee, I could see some of the stuff. But if you're by yourself, something I talk about pretty often, projecting force, rolling around with a rifle, kit, and stuff like that when you're alone, in my opinion, typically is bad. It's bad business. Projecting force can work the exact opposite way too. You can look like a nice, tasty loot drop for somebody, and you can't watch everybody at once. Somebody clap you from behind and just take all your shit, and there's that. But once again, I think that's just as unlikely as all of the coded messages, the not asking for extra information, not taking real medical equipment, dude. Once again, if this guy's non-ambulatory, I'm gonna need something to drag him out. I don't know the extent of his injury, so I need a way to keep him compact and not moving to not cause further injury. Right. Tourniquets and stuff are cool, but that's for massive hemorrhage to extremities. Right. I'm sure he had stuff for packing and gauze and all that stuff too. Great. But he said he fell out of a tree. Like once impaling, I guess that's a thing that could happen too. But if he's impaled, once again, tourniquets ain't helping that. Nothing's helping. Nothing that I saw in this video is helping unless he's packing it and keeping it in place until he can get to a higher echelon of care. Pulling a deer, that shit, once again, absolute. That is not even on my fucking radar for things to do. Come back for the deer later on, right? A lot of this video seemed like a giant gear call out video. It's what it kind of seemed like, just giving some people some free burn, being like, hey, this is what I got from 100 Concepts, this is what I got from this place and stuff like that. It's kind of what it seemed like for a lot of the video, which isn't bad, like if that's what you're what you're trying to do. But yeah, the biggest thing for me is the walking part. You're trying to run through the woods for a mile, and granted, if you're in shape, great, but that's not the hard. Getting there is not the hard part. Getting back's the hard part. So I didn't see a map, like a GPS. Like GPSs fail all the fucking time. I would say he did say, I think he did say he had a map and compass though, so that's dope. Map, compass, protractor, some map markers, nods. I don't see the fucking point, to be honest with you. Because once again, I'm not trying to drag a casualty through the night, not being able to see like what's around him too. Like I don't know if there's a snake crawling up next to him. It's rural fucking Tennessee. Who knows what the fuck's on the ground? So I don't want to be out here dragging a casualty. Can't see what's going on. Can't see him. I can't see him. I can't see if something's crawling on him. Like I want to be able to still see what's going on. So nods not at the top of the fucking list either. If you got them, great. Sure, like I got my nods in my bag too, but it's far from being on the top of my list. I would much rather drag a casualty to the road to throw him into the vehicle to now like all that work for me physically is done, and I can drive him to the next level of care. Pace plan for communication. I mean, we still got cell phones, man. Like a financial collapse is not going to be the thing where people were making a billion calls and shutting down the towers. Probably the very few towers you have out in rural Tennessee. All in all, it's an entertaining video for sure. But I hope people aren't just creaming their pants over gear stuff. and not realizing that mission drives gear, not the opposite way around, right? The fact that medical seemed like a back burner item for this entire fucking sequence was a massive problem and red flag for me. Because how you can't sit up here with $3,000 plus rifles with lasers and all this shit on it, and you don't have any legitimate medical equipment to carry casualties. That seems kind of short sighted. That's just for me, right? Like if you know somebody's super injured and I need to like strap them the fuck down and drag them away, I want real equipment to do that. I don't want to be makeshifting items that can fail, snag, because guess what happens when you go through the woods? Shit tends to snag a lot, which is why your Skedcos are completely smooth plastic or on the bottom or hard rubber on the bottom, so they don't snag. There's no snag hazards. The moment you start putting ponchos and what else down there, ponchos will get snug and torn. Same thing with the hammocks; they'll get snug and torn. Right? All it has to do is catch a sharp branch um, or one of these razor bushes out here, and that thing is done. And then from there, now your casualty is feeling everything through the ground. That's the biggest thing we don't want, because once again, if he has a back injury, I don't want him feeling everything on the ground as I'm pulling him. Like the ground ain't that flat. He's still gonna be running over rocks. He's still gonna be running over branches, bushes, you name it. You need something legitimate. So either one, which I think is number one, call more than one person. You shouldn't be the only person dealing with this problem. And if you happen to be the only one, make sure you have the right equipment for the job. Right. So stop putting your weapons and shit so high up on the ladder for a rescue mission. It should be up on the ladder, but it's not number one. Number one is like, I need rescue equipment. So I'm going to be making calls, trying to get guys here to make sure I have a truck. I'm gonna pull the truck as far as I can. If I start to see stuff and it looks like things are awry, and once again, I can keep contact with the guy that just called me on the radio. Like I should be getting constant updates from this fucking guy. Yo, what's going on? What situation look like? Is there anybody around? Can you get help? Like anything. I should be constantly talking to this guy. One, to make sure he's not in fucking shock while I'm spending 15 to 17 minutes kitting up to go get him. So it's what's got to happen here. So once again, man, I think the video was entertaining. This isn't meant to be a dickhead or asshole or anything like that. But if y'all out here, y'all have 4, 5, 6, $2,000 plus rifles, $1,500 plus rifles, and you don't have one Skedco or Talon J litter, Polis litter. Those range from anywhere from, I know a Talon J costs anywhere from $400 to $600. That's less than some of y'all suppressors if we're keeping it a fucking stack. Your Skedco, last time I looked at Skedco's, the lowest end was like $680, $700. Highest end was around $900. But once again, it's still less than a suppressor, right? To have real life-saving, abilities. I was like, until you drag a dude through the woods and he's catching every stick and branch and with a fucked up back or a broken ass leg, right? I saw one splint. I think you need probably more than one splint. You might want to even double up on it so when you wrap it up, it stays in place, right? Especially if it's broken skin or if a bone punctured an artery and he's starting to bleed now. Like, medical is nothing to fuck with, and you need to know what the fuck you're doing. And so half-assing and or makeshifting equipment in order to deal with it is going to cause more problems than it's worth. But that's all I got right now. I'm not going to continue to rant any further. I commend these guys for even getting on here and making these videos, because not a lot of people are doing it. But yeah, let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. And I guess I'll throw some background in there. People are probably like, well, why should anyone listen to you? I'm not saying anyone should listen to me. I ain't shit. My experience, currently still in the Army. Been a 11 Bravo for a decade now. Currently a foreign weapons instructor. And I mean, I've been deployed to Iraq a couple of times. So, I mean, I have some experience, nothing breathtaking by any means. But yeah, like I said, man, I commend these guys for putting the videos out there, and I'm sure it's just going to get better with time. So thanks for sticking here through this. If you guys have anything that I missed, which I'm sure I did miss some stuff, I'm trying to like write notes at the same time and kind of keep this done in a timely manner, because we're already about at 40 minutes. 40 minutes is a lot of time. So, but yeah, if you guys have anything, Sky Pirate Actual, let me know what you guys want to see in videos next, or something that you want me to react to or do a walkthrough with. See you later.